Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Rob Robinson. You can follow some of my material on drrobrobinson.com. I'm the clinical director and founder of Family Care Counseling Associates in Wilbraham, Massachusetts. And what we're doing is we're beginning to create some of this material to make it available as self-help material to anybody who's interested on YouTube and on the website. One of the things we're going to be talking about today is how to become less reactive and more active as a way of reducing stress in your life. Over 90% of the medical office visits in the United States are due to stress-related illness. And one of the things that we're trying to help people understand is if you become less reactive in your life and turn the reaction into more action, you'll begin to see that anxiety and depression and stress begin to be lessened in your life. So what we're going to do is look at 5 ways to become less reactive and more active in your life. So the motto to embrace with this is that it's not the situation, it's really in my mind. So what the message is there is that situations in and of themselves are neutral. And that's really a very productive motto to embrace. When you go through your day-to-day situations in your life, try to do this for the next week. Just see what arises and remind yourself that it's not the situation, that situations are really neutral. And what we do with that situation causes the reaction. So whatever we project into it in the way of meaning affects the way we feel and the way we think and the way we behave. So once again, for the coming week, just try to adopt the motto, it's not the situation, it's my mind. Tip number 2 is to use a technique that I developed. It's called the SCAD technique, S-C-A-D. And I like to use these little kind of mnemonics as a way of helping people kind of get in touch with what's the most important thing you can think of when you're beginning to see yourself in a reactive situation. So the SCAD technique is one simple way of helping yourself get in touch with 4 simple words that can help you navigate stressful circumstances. So the SCAD technique, once again, is S-C-A-D. The S stands for stop, which is to be alert in catching yourself and watching what arises in your mind. Just stop, see what's coming up in the way of what you're thinking about in the situation, and just be alert to what's arising. The C is to calm yourself down. It stands for calm. And the best way to calm yourself down is learn to take some very deep, slow breaths as a way of just being able to reduce the stress in your physiology. And one of the other ways that you can learn to calm yourself down is to practice meditation and relaxation. And to that end, you might be able to visit my website, which is drrobrobinson.com. And on that website, you'll find what I believe to be a very effective meditation and relaxation technique that's very easy to practice and very easy to incorporate into your daily routine. And once you practice meditation and relaxation on a daily basis, then when you think of the calm piece on the SCAD technique, it's much easier to relax your body and mind in response to what's happening. The A part stands for allow, which means to allow whatever arises to just happen without any judgment. Just allow it to be. No matter what shape the present moment may present itself in, it's there and it's best to just allow it to be. It doesn't mean you have to deal with it. We're going to talk about that step next. But it's not really helpful if there's already built-in resistance to what arises. For example, when our minds say that something shouldn't be the way it is. Certainly to go outside today and get in your car and see that you have a flat tire, that's a very challenging situation. But the flat tire exists, it's there, you need to allow it to be, stay calm, and then make a plan to deal with it. And then the D part stands for deal, meaning that once you've stopped yourself and you're alert to see what your mind has created in reaction to that, and you've calmed yourself down and you've allowed the situation to be, the next step is to deal with it. And if you're calm and able to think clearly, then the rational thinking will be able to help you navigate the circumstances and come up with the best solution. The third tip that I think is helpful in being able to become less reactive, and more active in your life was something we just talked about a moment ago, and that is to allow the present moment to be in whatever form it arises. In dealing with the present moment as it is, I like to use 3 pointers from Deepak Chopra. And those 3 pointers, I think, are very helpful in putting us in touch with just how important the present moment is. The first pointer is, the most important moment I'm in is the moment I'm in now. The second pointer is, the most important thing I'm doing is the thing I'm doing now. And the final pointer is, the most important person I'm with is the person I'm with now. Those 3 pointers help create a sense of importance to the only thing that we all really have, and that's in the moment that we're in. And by improving the quality of that, you begin to accept and allow things as they are rather than being reactive to what arises. Finally, or not finally, but the fourth tip is emptying the mental bucket, which is really about trying to create space for the things that arise in the moment. If we carry around a lot of agitation and resentment and bitterness over things that may have happened in the past and are no longer here, the only way we can keep that alive in the moment we're in is to keep ruminating about what has already transpired. So one of the things that I think is important is looking for ways to turn resentment into forgiveness. And one way to do that is realize that forgiveness is really about kind of getting the monkey off of your back and letting go of the things that frustrate you. And forgiveness is not something that you decide to do one time. When you finally decide that you're going to forgive someone for something that happened, it might be that you have to hold on to that forgiveness and remind yourself about it on a regular basis when you see some of the resentment beginning to seep back in to your thinking. So the best way to turn resentment into forgiveness is just to let go of the things that have agitated you and you felt resentful about in the past but are no longer here. One of the greatest stories that I've heard, it was actually Eckhart Tolle told this story, and I never forgotten it, but it's a tale about 2 monks that are walking to their monastery. And the 2 monks are walking down this dirty, filthy, muddy road, and they come upon a woman. And one of the monks helps the woman who's wearing this white gown to cross the road so her dress doesn't get muddied and dirty from the wet road. And so after the monk carries the woman across the road, the 2 monks continue on the journey to the monastery. And it's probably about another hour's walk. And when they get close to the monastery, the other monk who witnessed the other monk helping the woman be carried across the road said, I can't believe that you picked this woman up and carried her across the road. We're not allowed to be able to interact with people in that regard. Why'd you do that? And the monk who helped the woman said to the other monk, you've carried this woman a lot further than I did. And the message is that, these kinds of resentments we carry with us, and they take up a lot of psychological room and emotional space in our life, and can lead to tainting the present moment and allowing us to have more space to deal with the things that arise in our lives. The other pointer, I think, in trying to empty the mental bucket is to turn feeling like a victim into gratitude. One of the things I see most often in my practice and working with people is that people often feel victimized by their life. They feel they've been dealt a bad hand, as if to say that all the things that they wish would have happened in their life didn't happen, and they feel victimized by that. But when you're a victim and you think and see yourself as a victim, you really kind of disable yourself from being involved in any good problem solving, any effective problem solving in your life. You kind of read yourself out of the equation. And one of the ways I think to change feeling like a victim into gratitude is to look for some things that in your life that you can be thankful for. And one of the techniques that I think is really helpful for that is to be able to maybe once a week sit down quietly and take out a piece of paper and think back and reflect back on your week quietly, and think about 5 things that you may have some gratitude about, things that you're thankful for, things that went well. And if you practice doing that, even for a small period of time for 4 or 5 weeks, you'll begin to notice that feeling like a victim begins to dissolve, and you find that you have a lot of gratitude and thankfulness in your life, which really changes the mental energy that you walk around with. And finally, I think another helpful motto to embrace to become more of an actor rather than a reactor is to realize that conflict needs your participation in order for conflict to exist. So if you want to begin to eliminate conflict in your life, see your role in that process. Conflict is something that arises usually in our thinking and usually has a lot of ego involved in that. Things about being powerful and winning and being in control usually happen out of an ego reaction. It's only important there. And one of the two of the other tools I think that are helpful in reducing conflict in your life is asking yourself, will this matter to me a week from now? How important will this be 1 week from now or a month from now? And also to realize what's really at stake here. What am I trying to demonstrate? What am I trying to prove with this conflict? So with those 4 tips, it may begin to help you move from a less reactive state to a more active position in your life, which will lower stress, help you feel better, reduce anxiety, reduce depression, and help you embrace the present moment as it is. I'm Dr. Rob Robinson, and again, visit drrobrobinson.com for more material and self-help tips. Thank you very much.